Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Violent Wrestling Podcast. I am one of your hosts here, Ambrose Alley, along with Mox, who's a little bit under the weather, and we also have our third person in the booth.
Mellow Matt. Hello, everyone.
So we are here, and it's been there's been a lot going on in wrestling, so much so that we're not going to go. There's too much to really go into depth on. We're just going to touch on a little bit of everything. Make this a nice, light-hearted episode for all of you folks. Like Matt, what were you watching Friday?
Friday I watched MOW. There was only one match on the show, which was the War Games match itself, and it looks like they're going to be splitting up the War Games episode, like the entire War Games show that they did, into separate parts over the upcoming weeks. And this past Friday was just the War Games match itself.
Yeah, kind of like what Rocky Mountain Pro did with their Milestone 8. It was done in one day, but they broke it down into two parts.
Right. It's looking like that's what it's going to be.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So, how was the match you saw? Good?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I don't know if it's the best War Games that it could have been, but for what a pretty entertaining match.
Oh, that's good. Probably made it a lot better, easier to go into Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, a little bit. There were some entertaining spots in that match. Color Brazil, just up and hitting the suicide dive on Fulton. They even begin the match.
Boy, it sounds like something I need to get into. I need to find it
Yeah,
and start watching it.
it should be on YouTube. The entire show on Friday. It's a pretty good match. Abyss, I believe, pulled out some thumbtacks in it. Tommy Dreamer put out all the weapons. Press a bit of a swerve. Right as Shane Strickland is about to come into the ring, Sammy Callahan jumps him from behind and just throws him through a table. There's this little stage like that they enter, and Shane Strickland just gets tossed like a swanton bomb like onto the table at ringside.
Sammy, now why would you want to do that to Shane? Tisk, tisk, tisk on you, Sammy. What can I say? I like Sammy.
Yeah,
I
and the
like
finish of
Shane
the match.
Strickland too.
Yeah, same here. And the finish of the match came when Color Brazil and Barrington Hughes did like this double crossface with barbed wire on Fulton, and he ends up tapping out. And Sammy Callahan's team ends up blaming Jimmy Havoc for the loss, and they beat him up to end the show. So it looks like Jimmy Havoc may have turned face. It looks like he may be feuding with Sammy Callahan after this.
Jimmy Havoc face. That's interesting.
Yeah, and Jimmy Havoc did bring out the paper.
He did.
Oh, yep, all kinds of paper cuts in that match as well.
Ouch, 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 ouch. I think that'd be worse than the thumbtacks and everything.
Yeah,
I'd
I
rather
think
have this
so.
shit than them damn paper cuts, man. Fuck that.
By the way, folks, that was Mox. As I said, he's kind of under the weather. And then after that, we went into Hell in a Cell, another
Yeah, and
WWE pay per view.
yeah, and for the most part, it was a good show. It was a good show for the most part, but the final three matches were terrible, and I guess we'll get to that in a bit.
Well, it's hard. It was hard to go against with for the Raw Tag Team Championships. That match would be so hard to follow.
Oh, it was, but some of the stuff that they did after that match just woof.
Even though I was unhappy with the results of that match.
Yeah, the wrong team won that match, but
Yeah, but at least Dolph Ziggler got carried out. I kind of like that. It made me feel good to see Drew having to carry Ziggler out of the arena. It just makes Drew look that much more invincible.
yeah, I think so. They have been booking him really strong
Well,
during his entire main roster return.
well, they
He's
need
been
to.
carrying that team since the beginning.
Oh yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah, they need to break him and Ziggler up
Yeah, they really should have done that. Really after SummerSlam, really.
and have him get into a feud with Ambrose. Psychopath versus the lunatic.
Yeah, and they had a good match on Raw.
Yes, they did, from what I've heard. But yes, let's go to your girl winning.
Well, the first match was a Hell in a Cell match with Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. That was pretty good. Definitely the best cell match of the night, which, granted, isn't really saying much, but it was definitely a pretty good match. Both guys worked really hard. Randy Orton and the ear spot was disgusting.
But he's the Viper. It makes sense.
And then Jeff ends up like sort of like hanging from the top of the cell and ends up going right through a table. And Orton gets the win.
At least I called that one right.
Yeah. I still say Jeff should have won, but maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my Jeff Hardy bias showing. As far as Becky Lynch Charlotte goes, they finally made the right decision. They finally gave the title to Becky Lynch. It should have happened at SummerSlam. Hell, it should have happened a long, long time ago. Should have three, if you ask me. But nonetheless, Becky Lynch is the new women's champion for SmackDown. And honestly, this was actually a great match. I would probably say Becky and Charlotte's best match together. I know you would say there was no intensity to it, which I don't agree with. I don't think there was any like outright intensity. I think there was subtle intensity. I think they did enough to really make it a great match. And Becky ended up winning clean. She sort of like reverses like a spear or something, and it just works very well. Becky ends up pinning Charlotte clean 1, 2, 3. Becky is the new champion. Well deserved, if I may say so.
I agree with you on that. It's well deserved for Becky to finally win her title back.
Even
Becky.
though
Sorry.
No, what?
I said Becky.
And I think that was about it for good matches.
I mean, even though they are still trying to push her as a heel, which is not going to work, they really needed to do a double turn here. But for whatever reason, they didn't. So whatever. He is the champion. That's all that matters.
And then it all goes into the shredder.
Well, they had pretty good tag match here. The Raw Tag Team titles. McIntyre and Ziggler versus Ambrose and Rollins.
Well, to me, that
Great
was the
tag.
match of the night.
Oh yeah, totally. I would agree with that as well. Maybe. Um, it was a great match. And I'm not usually a fan of tag team wrestling. It's never really been my thing. I don't hate it. It's just not something I would ever seek out. But with that said, this was a really great match. All four guys worked really well together.
Yeah, they brought it. They let it all out. And as I said, I still love Ziggler being carried out by Drew.
Yeah.
That just made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. That made up a little bit for the wrong team winning.
Yeah.
That made
I
up a
do
little
think
bit for
that
my
Ambrose.
disappointment. Mhm.
Yeah, like, I do think Ambrose and Rollins should have won here, and like McIntyre and Ziggler just need to break up already, because I don't know, just I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of run its course at the moment. I think McIntyre is sort of in a he's sort of in a Riot Squad situation. He's sort of like Ruby Riot in the sense that he's associated with wrestlers that, quite frankly, are just kind of holding him back.
Right. He needs to break away from Ziggler, then get into a good feud with Ambrose.
Yeah,
And then after that feud ends, then go for a belt. And Ambrose can bring a feud.
yeah,
And Ambrose can cover the few weaknesses that Drew has on the mic, which is not many, because he's a lot better than when he was first in the WWE.
oh yeah, totally. Like pretty much everything about McIntyre
He's
right now
improved.
is much better. Like you can tell that when he was first around that he had the tools to be a star. It never quite worked out. But I think now that he went on the Indies, he sort of found himself. I think now he's doing a lot better.
Well, on the indies, you can keep trying and reinventing yourself until you find out what works and what the crowd loves and what works for you.
Yeah.
And I think that Drew was able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when he came back, also jacked as he is, he looks, he's intimidating now. He's an intimidating looking guy.
So the next match was Styles and Joe. Pretty good match. Just about on par with their SummerSlam match. But again, like this needed to be a Hell in a Cell match, or just need to have some kind of stipulation to it, because they are having good matches, but I don't know. It's not quite working as well as it probably should. It needs that sort of extra edge to it in order to realize the potential that the storyline has at the moment. And it seems like that's what's going to happen at the Australia show. But here it just felt like this needed to be some kind of stipulation based match.
Right. Well, it's like we're getting the same match over and over again.
Yeah,
They need to
These
end the
net
feud.
these network specials are pissing me off.
yeah, it's just too much. And I mean, like from a business standpoint, I get it. I do like them expanding to countries like Saudi Arabia and Australia and places like that. I get it from a business standpoint, but from I don't know, just like a creative standpoint, it's just so overwhelming, especially when they do this. Like they're trying to do like three pay-per-views all at once, and it's just kind of a mess. If they had like the Australia show be like the main October pay per view, I think that would be fine. I think that would work. But when you're doing this many pay per views all at once, it gets kind of muddled. And on top of that, like these shows are really just glorified house shows at the end of the day. So it really doesn't matter even from that perspective.
Right. And plus, it's with all these pay-per-views thrown in there, it's taken away from some good stuff like the Mae Young Classic. By the time people get to watching that, they're so tired of wrestling. It's
Yeah, it's just an oversaturation.
oh yeah. And they better not take S SmackDown 3 hours. They better not do it.
And I mean, the finish of the match comes where it is like this controversial finish. Like Styles does win. Like Joe has like the Coquina clutch on. Styles is able to reverse it for a pin, but at the count of two, he ends up tapping out, but the referee doesn't see it. So it's a weird finish. It's a finish that pretty much everybody was expecting to happen because it was already known before this that they were facing off in Australia. So they sort of had to do a finish like this. But I think honestly, I think it's just time for Styles' reign to end because it's not a bad reign by any means, but at the same time, it's just not interesting.
Right, and he's already excuse me, he's already broken Punk's record.
Has he?
Yeah.
No,
No, he
no,
hasn't? I thought he
no.
has.
He's at Punk's at 434 and AJ's at three something.
Because I know that he broke JBL's reign
Yeah, he broke the
as
longest
longest reigning
reigning
SmackDown champion.
SmackDown champion, but he hasn't. He's not close to Punk yet. It will be, I think, if remember correctly, if he makes it to what is it, Mania or Rumble, he'll start getting close. But he just now hit the 300-day mark not too long ago. By the way, the whiskey, the beer, and the medicine's kind of kicking in, so I'm able to talk a little better.
So we are so we are getting drunk mucks after all.
No, not drunk. This is
Loopy.
a kind of, but
Dopey Mox.
I can talk for. I took too much medicine that upset my stomach, but that seems to be passing. But I can't remember when they said somebody did the math how long he had to have it to reach the 434, and I don't remember.
As
I
of right
wonder
now, he's on 316 days.
Yeah, he just this month he hit the 300 mark.
I wonder if they're gonna keep it on him so he does break Punk's reign.
Probably. It would not shock me at all. This is the same company that had Nikki Bella break AJ Lee's reign. So it's certainly possible. Now, granted, AJ Styles is a much better performer than Nikki Bella, but that's neither here nor there.
So what next dusty finish did we see?
Match was Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. And I gotta say, this bored the crap out of me. Like, this match was so boring. And then near the end, it was just plain bad.
This
And
is
it's just,
when it
I'm,
started going downhill for me.
yeah, same here.
The whole
And
pay per view.
honestly, I just feel like the Miz and Daniel Bryan feud, it's not as good as they're wanted it to be. I don't think it's as good as they think it is. I don't know. It just feels like Bryan's heart. It's just not in it anymore.
There several reasons for that, and you can. I'm not trying to sound sexist or whatever, but involving the wives has taken the steam away from what could have been with Brian and Miz, and they waited too long to begin with when Brian came back. But now you have the mixed stuff going on, and it's really cooled off, in my opinion, at least to me.
Oh, it totally has, but it didn't help them doing that really boring SummerSlam match. I think that's where it really killed it for me. Not that I was really too invested in the feud to begin with, but them having such a boring SummerSlam match, I don't think really helped. And now the feud is definitely cooled off.
This was the breast knuckle finish. I can't remember shit at the moment. That's where Maurice gave Miz the breast knuckles.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
William Regal did it better though.
once once that happened, like, well, you knew what was going to happen because the bells were
Yeah.
there. Like, well, here we go.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just kind of, and that's strange because Miz can usually run a good feud for quite a while.
I think, and if I'm like, if you guys can't hear me or if I'm like making the podcast bad, like tell me and I'll just stay on mute until like here and there. But Matt said something that I hadn't thought about, and a lot of it might have to be um with Daniel Bryan himself. Matt said
Which
something
is,
about the heart being
It,
in it or whatever.
yeah, like it feels like his heart just isn't in it anymore, and I don't know if it's just because he's just not being booked as a top star, or if he's like he spent so much time fighting to wrestle again, and now that he got his wish, he's like just like okay, now what? You know what I mean?
At the
Like
very
I don't
least,
know, it
he's
just
in a weird place.
yeah.
Maybe mentally, definitely with the booking and stuff. But don't they have whoever wins it, whatever the fuck they call that show?
the
Yeah,
Australia show.
yeah,
Yeah,
Australia Super Showdown. They're going to have Miz and Bryan again, and it's a number one contenders match for the WWE title.
which this is what we're talking about with these shows. And yes, this was a mixed match, so not completely the same, but it's gonna feel like the same. It's the same. Uh, I'm sorry, Brie Bella and Maurice do nothing to enhance a match.
They make it worse, honestly.
Yeah, like if
Because it
you're
becomes
gonna
all about them.
Yeah, the fact that those two just are not good wrestlers at all.
do the number one contenders match at Hell in a Cell, do the mixed match at the Australia show, and that way the stars are there for Australia so they can set off that stadium. And I don't, and I don't know. It's just, am I bothering you guys with how I'm?
No, no, none at all.
Cool.
I mean, Bryan and Miz at Australia, it's a no-win situation for me because I don't want to see either of those guys in the world title picture, especially Miz. That is the last freaking thing we need.
And based on the last two matches, I think this is to set up Brian winning in Australia
Maybe.
since Miz has gone over the first two matches.
I mean, I have seen people theorize that Miz will win and then goes on to win the WWE title, and Bryan and Miz fight for the title at WrestleMania, which is no, no, just no, worst timeline ever. No,
Oh,
because I sure as hell don't want to see Miz as WWE champion because it worked so well the last time he was world champion. It just worked so well.
You know, put your Miz hatred aside. It's not the same Miz. He
Mm.
he's. I know it's hard to do, but he's not the same Miz he was. That was what 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Honestly, I haven't noticed any kind of improvement. I mean, I am saying this objectively. Like I am. Like I'm not even just trying to say it to be an anti Miz guy. Like I genuinely just I don't see an improvement. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't see an improvement on him from 2011. Like he's still the same guy. I think.
I get a lot of that with the shit I give to Bellas.
Yeah, yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah,
I have no clue why people are saying that Nikki Bella has improved, because she hasn't, in my opinion. Just she hasn't, and the fact that so many people are saying that she did, like it was just so weird to me.
she
I don't know. It just came across like she was. People would act like she was like Shawn Michaels on the ring all of a sudden or something.
she did put on some weight, and that's not a sexist comment. Like she muscled up a little bit. She got a couple new moves. She still like overall sucks in the ring, and Bree
Yeah.
just has always just sucked in the ring. But anyway,
and moving right along.
Yeah. Next match was Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss.
Oh, that one was
Um,
a snooze fest.
it was because 10 minutes of Alexa Bliss working over Ronda Rousey, I just could not buy. I just could not get into it. Like they can play up the rib injury all they want. I cannot buy it at all. Like that just took me out of the match, which is a shame because it's like Ronda's selling. It wasn't bad, but at the same time, it was just so hard to believe.
Yeah, I think I was kind of. I think I started doing things around the house during that match. I think I gave the fur babies their death bath.
Achoo!
Yep. Achoo.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, but it was just it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that Ronda was going to win because even though they do love Alexa Bliss, there was no way that they were taking the title off of her this soon.
But yeah, that match didn't interest me.
Yeah, same here.
And I like Alexa, but nope.
I like her to an extent. Um, she's good on the mic, certainly, and she really isn't that bad in the ring. The problem is that she's not good enough in the ring to really warrant this super mega push that they've given her over the past couple of years.
And then our next match ended up being
Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman Hell in a Cell for the Universal title with Mick Foley as special referee. And I gotta ask you both, Mox and AA. I gotta ask you, what happened in this match?
I have no freaking idea. I didn't understand it one bit.
This is probably, and I'm currently watching all the Hell in a Cell matches for the nightly. I'm watching all the Hell in a Cell matches, and honestly, unless I see a really terrible one on this journey, I think this Hell in a Cell match with Braun and Roman may very well be the worst Hell in a Cell match ever. I'm not saying that like a hyperbole kind of thing. I think it generally may be the worst Hell in a Cell match ever because nothing about this made any sense.
It didn't. I mean, it started out okay for about 5 minutes, and then after that, I'm going, huh? What? I mean, they lost me. My
Yeah,
attention got sidetracked from it, and I didn't understand it, so I didn't pay that much attention to it because I don't like trying to watch something I don't understand.
right. And I
Kind of like
just
football.
I actually fell asleep like right at the right in between the previous match and this one.
yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Well,
Um,
I did, but I woke up like right when the what I call the fuckery started happening. So as far as like what happened at the very beginning, and I haven't gone back to rewatch, but
I'm gonna have to soon.
You mean when the cluster started?
yeah, in the cluster, I got to see
Yeah,
all
when
that, but
everybody started coming out.
I didn't know. My wife said that even she was like, what the hell is this? Kind of like it's Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, and even she didn't like the beginnings, but I haven't gone back to watch the beginning.
Yeah, because it's just it is kind of a slow match to begin with. Like it feels like they were told to hold back because of all this overbooking. Because I know in my heart that Braun and Roman can have a Hell in a Cell match,
Oh,
a great
yeah,
Hell in a Cell match,
most definitely. I
and
mean, look at them in their last feud that they had.
yeah, totally. And like if they were given the opportunity, they could have had a great Cell match. This was not it. Like this was not the match that they needed to have.
We all kind of know it was going to be an overbook. Not exactly what happened at the ending, but like this was going to be. You just knew that people were going to be coming down.
I mean, honestly, I wasn't really expecting it to be over. Was I figured maybe we would get a bit of it, but I wasn't expecting it to go as far as it did. Like Shield and McIntyre and Ziggler all coming out, Seth and Ziggler falling off the side of the cage onto the tables, Brock kicking the door in and beating up both Roman and Braun. It was just a mess. Like the entire thing was just a mess. And why? Just why? Why did we get Brock for Jeff? Like, come on. That is not a good trade at all.
Yeah. And then they took that mess and did that again on Monday Night Raw. and overbooked that opening sequence.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, Hell in a Cell, it was a good pay per view for the most part. It would have been great if it wasn't for the last three matches.
But you're right. If they had just let Roman and Braun go in the cell with no other interference, just let them tear it up. That could have been your match of the night.
Oh yeah, certainly, certainly.
Yeah, easily. Okay.
Come on, when you have them trying to kill each other with ambulances, and then it's plodding along in a cell. Come on.
Yeah, and like if there is one match in WWE that should not have a no contest finish at all, it should be a Hell in a Cell match.
The only one I can remember before this one was Mankind Kane on Raw, I think. I don't think
Yeah,
it was on pay-per-view.
yeah, it was on Raw.
20 years, 30 years ago, whatever. 20,
Yeah, not like I think
98.
it was like I think it was on the Go Home show for SummerSlam. I think where Stone Cold interfered and beat up Kane. I believe.
When Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman's regular steel cage match was better than Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns Hell in a Cell.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
problem. That's a problem.
yeah,
No, Roman's not the problem here, though.
oh no, he's not. Like I feel bad for him because he does not deserve this kind of booking.
But he's going to get blamed for this match.
Yeah, probably.
Not by us.
Oh no.
And I saw
He had nothing
somewhere
to do with it. This was booking.
on Twitter or it's somewhere, maybe it was even Facebook. Um, even if this is where you want to bring Brock back to sell Saudi Arabia, whatever. Um, when he F5'd Roman on top of Strowman, have the referee count the three right there. Roman
Yeah,
retains.
like
Braun's going to be pissed. Brock proves his point.
Roman retains.
You got at least get a three count out of it and not the bullshit that we got.
yeah, like and they could have finished the match. I mean, they could have finished the match. I mean, Mick Foley was thrown off a cell, dislocated his shoulder, bruised his kidney. Then he got chokeslammed through the cell, almost died, lost a tooth,
We don't.
and he
We don't.
still managed to finish the match. He got chokeslammed on thumbtacks. He still finished the match.
He doesn't remember half of it. But he finished it. Uh, before we move to Raw, did anybody else watch his special after Hell in a Cell?
I didn't.
I didn't.
That was really good. Where he visits the Hell in a Cell 20 years later. I recommend it to both of you guys. It's him doing stand up, but there's some jokes and stuff in there, but it's really worth to watch.
Now on to the cluster that was Raw.
Yeah, Corbin versus Roman for the Universal title was the main event.
No,
I
no DQ.
I think that pretty much says everything that needs to be said.
Yeah, but I want to our listeners out there, I want to apologize. After what happened in the opening of Raw, I did turn off Raw because after they overbooked it and had everybody coming out of the woodwork, I couldn't take it. I just couldn't. Not after what we saw on the pay on Hell in a Cell, and then they started Raw off that same in a cluster. I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't. It was too much for me. There's not enough vodka in the world to get me through that.
This Monday's really when Sunday's when it started, but Monday, I literally I couldn't watch. I kept up with like live feeds and stuff, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of a mediocre episode of Raw. Like, I don't know. Like, if you didn't watch it, you didn't really miss much.
I know Roman retained.
Yeah.
but didn't that match not start off as a DQ? Didn't Corbin get
No, it
DQ
didn't. Yeah, Corbin got himself DQ'd.
and then made it a no DQ? Restarted the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember things I read. Forget anything else that happened significant. Oh, Undertaker was there.
Yeah, Undertaker cut a promo on his match with Triple H at Australia, and he revealed that Kane was going to be in his corner at that show. So Mayor Kane's going on a little bit of a business trip.
We we,
Yeah.
we speculated about this uh, last week or 2 weeks ago. Whenever it was shit. Um, the Undertaker coming out to interrupt Sean. Sean's wrestling again, isn't he?
I hope
It
not.
would not shock me. It would not shock me. The rumor as of right now is that it's looking like it's going to be DX versus Brothers of Destruction at WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
And to use what you were saying earlier, I get it from a business point, but
Mm-hmm.
you're just ruining fucking the greatest retirement ever. Like he retired, he stayed retired, and for a money grab, now that means nothing.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like the money, apparently, there's a lot of money being thrown around, and like Sean, he's one of the few wrestlers that has actually stuck to his retirement. And it's like, could Shawn Michaels come out of retirement and put on a great match? Yeah, probably. Because I'm pretty sure he's still in good shape.
Well,
He
you
still
take
gets
a
a
look at
workout.
him. You take a look at him. He's still in good shape.
Yeah, and he still gets a workout in the ring because he's training NXT.
Wasn't it two 2 years ago? I guess towards the end of 2016, headed into WrestleMania 2017, or end of 2015, headed into WrestleMania 2016, where Vince called him and he started getting into great shape or whatever again. And he did show up on a Raw or something. He actually showed up at that WrestleMania
Yeah.
just cut, just in phenomenal shape.
Yeah, because I think he was offered to face AJ Styles at Mania. I don't know which Mania it was. I can remember if it was 32 or 33, but there was a Mania where he was offered to face AJ Styles.
I think it was 32, the one in Texas, Dallas.
It might have been.
But even if he came back, not for this.
Right. Like, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if Shawn Michaels is going to come out of retirement, have him face somebody new. Like, even though I don't think we've ever really seen DX and Brothers of Destruction fight in a tag team match, like at least have him fight somebody new. Have him fight like I don't know,
Because,
like Styles or Almas or somebody like that, like somebody a newer blood, you know. And Sean, I think at the end of the day, he has nothing to prove. There's no reason for him to come out of retirement other than the money.
you can't blame him.
Oh, well, I certainly can't blame him, but
But at the same time, this is where you can kind of, there's blame to be had and shared.
right.
Because when did that WrestleMania, what was it, 27 retirement match?
26, I think. Yeah, it
20,
was
yeah,
26.
because then Taker and H went 27 and 28. So, and we're about to be on WrestleMania 35. So 9 years
Yeah.
of never, he's been in some spots super kicking people, but he's never had a
Hmm.
match.
Like
9 years.
he's been like special referees and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And there is rumors that this is leading to other matches, but shit. I don't really remember any other headlines coming out of this show. Not at Raw. We have two. We have two BWPs.
Don't ask me. I did an Elda Zone today in the dailies, so don't ask me what's going on.
Just making sure, like I haven't.
Now there's just one of me.
But yeah, as far as I know, I don't really think there was anything noteworthy, anything else that was noteworthy on Raw. Like it seems like they're starting to build towards Ronda, Bellas, and the Riot Squad. But that's about it, I think.
Oh, then I guess we move on down to Smacky Down Live. Smack, smack.
So
Let me.
apparently it started with yet another Ms. TV promo.
Yes, Ms. TV started it all.
WWE. We've had this talk before. Miz does not need a promo every single week.
How long was I on mute? Hmm.
I don't know.
You guys couldn't hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Could you hear me when you came in twice?
yeah.
Somehow it just went on mute by itself.
And I mean, yeah, like you guys know me. Like anytime I change the channel.
Yeah, but
And
we had the Miz and
Who was this guy? Buddy.
It was Maurice.
Again, I couldn't remember.
And then let's see. The next coming up after that, coming back from commercial and everything, Kofi and Big E cut promos. And Big E does a really bad Australian accent.
Put another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
Crikey, mate.
Yeah, Cesaro and facing Kofi in a pretty good match. But honestly, I'm just so sick of the bar as a team being an attack title scene. Just, I just want Cesaro to be by himself. I'm just done with the bar as a tag team. They've run their course, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're. But we end up getting.
The only reason I've put up with the bar this long, and I don't like them as a wrestler per se, but uh, Sheamus doesn't have that much longer to perform. And one way he can keep performing is in tag matches with Cesaro. But other than that, I really like.
And then we get the Swiss Superman taking on Kofi Kingston in a match where Cesaro wins by pinfall with the neutralizer. I can see that's going to get a lot of information from people.
Yeah, I mean it was a good match.
Going off the rails here.
Trying to remember what was next on SmackDown.
Coming up from that, there was a backstage interview with Rusev and Lana backstage. And they're talking about Rusev Day when Aiden English comes up.
Yeah, when this show Rusev they ended up breaking up
Yeah.
with Aiden English and his mega face turn.
And then
You might be on an island on that one.
you see Randy Orton in the commentary truck, intimidating attack to pull up footage.
Yeah, I am curious who Randy Orton's next opponent will be.
Who's next going to fall to the Viper?
Because I'm not sure. I just know other faces on SmackDown.
There was more interviews than and backstage stuff than actual matches, it seems like. Because then you get AJ gets interviewed in the back. before we get to Nakamura and his match for the United States Championship. When he goes up against Rusev.
And this is when the Nakamura wins, and this is when the actual turn happens with Rusev Day, the breakup.
Yeah. And then it's AJ Styles versus Almas.
Oh, we completely no sold the Raw segment of Leo Rush and
Oh yeah,
to
that's right.
Leo Rush with
Who wants to walk with Elias?
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it's looking like Leo Rush is going to be Lashley's manager now.
And that was, whose kid is this? You know, because it was, I think, one of the most talked about segments of Raw, and we didn't even touch on it.
I mean, that is kind of how forgettable Raw was that we forgot about something like
Yeah.
that.
Kevin Owens come out and confront Leo Rush commentary. I like them putting Bobby Lashley needed a mouthpiece anyway. Hell, I could use one right now. And
I would say
give him,
he needed more of a heel turn than a manager per se.
I think they're getting there. I think that's what
Yeah, I
this
think
is.
so. I think that is the end game.
You know, this was the first piece to that heel turn puzzle. Is get the man of the hour talking for you. Anyway, sorry, just talking about the match on SmackDown reminded me of Leo Rush,
Well,
Bobby
that's
Lashley.
because we're getting to Almas and AJ Styles. Where AJ Styles wins.
Almost is such a star in the making.
Hmm.
He could definitely, I see Almost going places.
Well, and then we get, after that, then we get to Asuka versus Billy Kay.
Poor Iconics. Poor Iconics. WWE, let them win. Please let them win.
And now we'll get to Becky's coronation.
Well, I mean, one other thing I was going to say about the Iconics before
Oh,
we move on is just that for the gimmick that they have, you would think they'd be doing way better than they are. Like this gimmick should be like catnip to WWE, and for whatever reason, they just are not putting any effort in them at all. It's a shame because the Iconics are really trying, but they're not given any opportunities, and they're getting so much mic time, which is a good thing, but at the same time, it's meaningless when you do nothing with them but have them lose.
It's starting to become a problem. I guess it wasn't already.
What's starting to become a problem?
The, the much they get and never can follow it up with
Yeah,
a win or
and they wonder why the crowd doesn't take them seriously. They just wonder. Like if you're going to give them this much mic time, you need to do something with that. And they just, for whatever reason, they're just not putting any kind of effort into them, which is a shame because the Iconics, I think, could easily be the top heels of the women's division on SmackDown. They easily could be.
one of them at least.
What that's supposed to mean.
You know, the home going towards the championship.
I will post that gif of Billy Kay dancing. I will do it.
Please don't.
I will do it.
Now to the back suppress. We just call this the Charlotte Ashley.
Yeah, I always say this: Becky is a good promo. She really just blows Charlotte out of the water on the mic. She really does.
It's not really hard to do.
Not really, but it's kind of funny, especially when Becky is supposed to be this hated heel and she's constantly getting cheered, and it's like WWE, they really need to learn how to read the room because it just comes across so tone deaf. It's obvious that it's obvious that they want Becky to be the heel and Charlotte to be the face, and it's not working. It's just not working, and it's never going to work. They just need to do a double turn with them, especially since Charlotte is going to be facing Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Charlotte's probably going to be a heel for that match anyway. Why not just do a double turn?
well, maybe they'll get it right one of these days.
Maybe because they're trying to have Becky be a heel, and it's not really working because no one is willing to boo her because they see right through it. And not only that, but there's no real reason why they should be booing Becky.
And that ends the show. Becky beating up Charlotte.
I mean, I gotta say, I'm not used to Becky Lynch being booked strong. Like, this is very weird for me. It's a shame that they felt the need to turn somebody heel to do so, but it is what it is, I guess.
So, any other we need to talk about?
I think that might be it.
I already talked too much. I'll add on to next week about the Becky Charlotte thing.
Do, 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 do.
Yeah, there- there's so many different ways they could have gone or should have gone. And but like somehow it's still working because it is. Like, but I'll say that for if it's a slow week next week.
Well, next Wednesday, I'll be able to talk about Rocky Mountain Pro and seeing Al Snow again.
What does everybody want?
Pardon?
What does everybody want?
Head.
And um, we have a Friday. We don't have an exact time yet, but Friday we have a
A
very special.
special Violent Wrestling podcast.
In this show, we're just going to call and the show itself UWP. And I wish I could go into more detail, but like I literally can't. But the title of the episode is going to be called Takeover Kids, and I will explain more on Twitter and chat sheets where I can type and not have to talk.
We're going to be taken over by kids and get their opinion on things. So, Matt, what about your podcast?
Well, this week, I will be joined by MDS, Mr. Dr. Sinju, as we will be talking about Raw Roulette 2003.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I think it will be. I think it will be.
So, I guess we can give some shout outs where they can get a hold of you, Metal Matt.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at MetalMatt15. I also hang out on Cage Side Seats and the daily and the nightly. Right now in the nightly, which I just posted, there will be. I'm currently doing a Hell in a Cell retrospective because after the cluster mess that was Roman and Braun, I just want to know, how did we get to this point? How did we get to this point that we had such a mess of a cell match that ended in a no contest? So for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be going through every single Hell in a Cell match that ever took place. And tonight was Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood 2004, which was a good cell match, but it was a bit repetitive at times and was way, way, way too long. Like, this is a 47-minute match. It's the longest Hell in a Cell match to date. So
Wow.
Typical Triple H match. Triple H does
And
not like short matches.
no, he likes them like he does his promos, bro.
What the fuck would I know why? Because Christmas time, new toys. But that fucking god awful red cell, don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the new red cell.
I mean, again, business, kids already have Hell in a Cell. They don't have the red one. I get the business aspect of it, but fuck, that was god awful.
But were people even asking for a different colored cell?
No, I don't think
I,
so.
I know people that were there and like the upper seat couldn't see shit. Seen some people like on Twitter and stuff. We can see anything going on inside of either one of the cell matches.
And Mox, where can they find you?
Um, Here,
That works. And everyone knows where to find me. Now, we're giving shout outs to some of our fellow podcasters out there, like Connoisseurs of Wrestling, on Monday nights during Raw, Shooting Debris, Metal Man's Ruthless Aggression Era podcast on Friday nights at what time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central.
Makes it 6 Mountain. I have to get Mountain in there. Yes, I do.
Mississippi Queen, if you know what I mean. Hey, so we gotta get Mountain in there. I give you
Yes.
Mountain.
Yes, you did. Give me Mountain. For those of you who want to check out a new promotion, go to Twitch, check out Rocky Mountain Pro. You can also find them on YouTube. Give them a look. You'll like them. And you can find me on Twitch at Violent Wrestling Podcast, and that's wrestling with an N, no G. Because I couldn't fit the G in there. So I guess that's all for tonight, folks.
sorry guys.
Nothing to be sorry about. We know you're under the weather. You're allowed that once in a blue moon.
You guys have a good week, and we'll see you Friday and then next Wednesday, like always.
Yeah. Everyone take care. And we'll see you Friday for a special VWP. Good night, everybody. No one else saying good night, just me?
Good night.
I said peace.
Good night, everyone.